And I hopefully they'll sign the contract. Remember, they're the ones that have gone and looked at. Oh, Jerry said,
Oh,
"Oh, we could do it."
good, Jerry.
Yeah,
Um, well, let's talk about the buyer presentation because we haven't really done that.
yeah. I watched the one video of the gal that you sent.
Oh yeah.
I liked her better than the guy, the red sign
Uh-huh.
king. I think her style.
Was she, was I the buyer?
No, that was with the
Oh,
guy.
okay.
I did. He felt. I didn't like. I don't know. I felt like maybe I need to be more experienced to even say the things he was saying. He felt very like. I liked her approach better. And I like the questions she asks.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say the biggest thing, and the hardest part of showing someone a buyer consultation is it's way more consultation than presentation.
Yeah.
You're
I've
just gonna
seen them.
you're just gonna ask them questions after
Yes.
questions.
And I made a list of all the questions that she asked.
Oh, sweet.
And so I have them. So I'm just going to bring them and then I'm just going to like have it printed out and then just kind of like have space for each question and then just ask.
I love it.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
And then have them sign the contract.
Yep.
And
Yeah, when I'm doing a buyer consultation, I do it very similar to that where I'm asking a lot of questions. Then the one difference is at some point when I'm like asking about what they're looking for in a house, I will pull up the MLS.
mm,
And so then it looks more like this. Here, I'll even share my screen so Jerry can follow along.
grab the contract really quick.
Okay.
Questions about. I want to make sure I'm filling it out right.
Oh, and Jerry, congrats. Bronze level here. Doing
Woo
great.
woo.
109. Just inching past Mandy still with 104.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but no one's catching Rachel. Look at that, 132.
She's doing awesome.
Yeah, has an appointment. I was telling Mandy that I should start reporting my numbers because I am 36 conversations in the last 2 days. So I'm gonna catch you guys fast. So I'm gonna do
You don't
100.
count, Cameron.
I'm coming for you, Jerry.
That's cool. Amy has 4 appointments. Good for
Yeah,
her.
that's the big differentiator with everything is we are getting appointments. So okay. I was gonna pull up.
Amanda's here.
Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
So I have, yeah, so when I get in, I prep, I have the MLS pulled up and I just do it in full search.
I don't feel very confident on MLS, and I don't want them to see that,
Yeah.
like what to put in there and things. Like,
I constantly am still searching for where things are at.
yeah, but even like to put all the what to put into search.
So yeah, so here's how I do it. So I say, okay, well, let's just so I welcome them, we talk, and then I ask them a whole bunch of questions like why are you buying, why now? Tell me about the pre-approval, yeah,
Yeah.
all of that. Um, and just like where do you work and all of those types of questions. And so then when I start to get all of that information, then I say, hey, well, let's actually just like pull up houses because I want to know what you want in a house and what you need in a house. And I figure we can just find houses that match that. So then I always start with like what are you approved to? So let's just I don't know, let's
What
make
if,
up six.
what if they haven't done that yet?
Um it's a little bit harder. Um we can do the math. Uh basically half of their income can go to debts. Um so if you make 10 grand in a month, $5,000 can go to all of your debt payments, including your house. And so then we can reverse engineer
So they have
what that looks
debt.
like.
So then you can,
So
so
then you could just go to ChatGPT and be like, hey,
if their income is this,
if their income is this and we're doing a 50% debt to income ratio, it's called DTI, um, what would their house payment be with a current interest rate or something like that? Um, or yeah, just say act as a loan officer. This person makes this much and has this much in debt. How much could they afford in a house? And ChatGPT will tell you. So let's just imagine that that's 650.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
there is going to be a low end here because someone that's approved to 650 is not going to buy a $400,000 house unless they're like, we're buying a $400,000 house, and then I would put this here. If they're approved to for 625, I would go a little higher, like 650, because we could have some negotiation room. Um, but yeah, if you're approved to 650, you're probably going to want a house that's pretty similar to 650. They're very different. So I will put a floor here. I don't know, 500 as a floor. Um, and then I'll just go down here and start asking things like, hey, so tell me about it. Like, you want just a single family house? Would you be okay if it's like connected with another house or a townhome style? What does that look like to you? Great, single family. Then do you have a preference? Like, stairs, no stairs, everything like that. Some people are very opinionated on it,
Mhm.
and other people are not. So if they're like, I do a two-story or a Rambler or something, I'll be like, okay, and then I'll just skip that because it's like we're open and okay.
Okay.
And so then I'll just keep going down and date fields, that doesn't matter. Location, I'll start to just jump in and I'll click on
What
view
areas do
map.
you want?
And then I'll say, okay, let's just view the map. And when they're like, we'd love to live in Lehigh, then I literally get out this and this little polygon tool and be like, okay, so you say Lehigh, but tell me like how far north would you go? And they're like, oh, nothing more than Point of the Mountain. So then I'd say, okay, Point of the Mountain. Would you live out in like the Saratoga Springs, Eagle Mountain? If they're like Saratoga, yes, Eagle Mountain, no. Like, what about like this closer Eagle Mountain and not city center? And they're like, oh yeah, okay. So then I'm like, okay, we have this. We know we want Saratoga Springs. How far south would you go? And they're like, oh, I hate Provo, so make a line there. So great. And then, okay, well, you do Pleasant Grove. How about Highland Alpine? And we just start to draw whatever it is. And so then we'd hide the map. And I'm always looking here on the number of matches. I want to narrow this down more and more. And as I'm doing this, I'm asking them why. So why is that important to you? Like, why would you not go to city center? And they're like, oh, I hate driving or it's too far. I hate the school districts. And then you'd be like, oh, okay, so well, this is our next section because we're in this location and we can kind of just scroll down and say like, okay, so there's HOAs, like most of the properties we're going to find out will have HOAs. Is that okay with you? Um, ADU on the property, if they're like, we really want to rent out part of it, like,
So if you don't, if
great.
they say they hate HOAs, how do you filter out? You just say no for HOA,
Yeah, so we do no HOA.
and then that cuts it down.
Yep. If they're like, I hate everything HOS, great. Okay, we're gonna cut that out. We'll start with this, and then we might have to include it if we're not finding anything. And so you're going to use some of the knowledge that they gave you. Like if they're like, yeah, my mother-in-law is going to live with us and we're not excited about it, then you could be like, hey, well, do you want an ADU on your property? Like a legit mother-in-law for your mother-in-law. Um, and so you can do that. I will skip over most of these things, but I have it on the big screen, right? The TV when we're there. So sometimes people will be like, oh, solar, that's actually important to us. And it's like, oh, okay, we can click on that. If they're very in like a school district, we can pick that. Um, then I'll start to ask them a couple questions like, okay, so like if the home is older, are you okay with that? And if they're like, oh yeah, and I'm like, okay, when I say older, what does that mean to you? And if they're like, oh, like 2000s, I'm like, oh, no, no. Yeah.
They like kind of like iconic older houses.
Yeah. So then you might say like, what if we find like a new construction? Would you be willing for that? And you just kind of start asking all of these questions here. Do you need a garage? That's always a big one that I have. Um, they might have opinions on square feet. If they don't, we're just going to use bedrooms, bathrooms, um, acreage. Do you have pets? Those kind of things. How would you feel if you didn't have a basement, or if you did, do you need a walkout, anything like that? Some of the things people won't care about, like roof. Who cares what roof you have? I don't know. Some people are very into what that is. So then we can start to get in here. I use this total line a lot of the times, um, or bathrooms I'll do down here. So if someone's like, oh, I need 5 bedrooms. So then it's like,
Two, can you just
So
say
that's the low end. Yep. So the low end, and then there's no high end.
okay, so you
And so then if they're like, yeah, we want probably like 2.5, 3 baths, something like that. So then you could say like, okay, well, for sure they're saying they need 2 full baths and then maybe a half bath.
okay.
So now we're down to 15. So that's probably a good number that we can just start to click on and we just view results. And then I will legitimately just go through it with them.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
So then I'll be like, okay, so tell me like at first glance, which of these houses do you really like? The
Okay.
exterior look.
Okay.
And if they're like, oh, that one with the weird blue shutters, I'll be like, okay, you're a weirdo. Let's click on it.
It's weird.
And then I'll say, okay, what do you like about the outside of this house or what called to you? Um, and then when we get inside, I'm like, okay, just like judge this house with me. Like all the good, all the bad. What are you thinking? What are you saying? Do you like this floor? Do you like this layout? Do you like what do you like? What do you not like?
Okay.
And then you're taking notes in this.
Can you just record it and
Yep.
just tell them
Yep. Say, I'm just going to record this. Just, yep.
your taste and so I can capture it. And then maybe you don't even have to worry about notes because you're
Yep.
recording it
You're
and then you
recording
can
it.
really pay
Yeah.
attention to them and be present.
Yep. That's my favorite thing. And so then we'd go through things. And now I always like to call out, like this one says seller financing really big on it. So I'll be like, okay, that we're seeing this with seller finance with low down. So I want to tell you what that means. And sometimes they'll have more information here. Uh, Flexible low down payments, 7% interest, 5% balloon. This is an awful term. Uh, don't get a 7% interest because you can get a lower uh, rate than that getting a normal loan. So that makes no sense. Uh, but I would tell them like, oh, how this would work is we just actually cut out the lender and the seller becomes the bank for us. So we get to negotiate all the terms, how much down, what the interest rate is, when we have to pay them back, all the payment information. So this could be awesome. Would you be okay doing something like that? They're like, yes, we would love that. Like, great, we'll keep an eye out on that. Not necessarily that we'll find something, but now we're there. Um, and if you start to see other things, what is this? Breathtaking. What did it say? Mountain views through all new windows. The things agents are doing nowadays. So then I'd go through some of these, and you might
Isn't
spend
that
like,
caffeine to say breathtaking?
I don't know. I think it's I think it's dumb. Just let the house speak for itself. Um, but so then as you look through, your whole goal in the buyer consultation is you want to actually find the house that they're going to buy.
Mm,
Because in an ideal world, you you figure out homes that they really like, and then you say, okay, let's go see some of these.
yeah,
And then
that's awesome.
you can just go right back to this list view and check the ones that they want to see and go to the aligned showings.
Line showing report.
Yep. And then click the
Yeah.
route and it will tell you like, okay, let's go see these houses.
So you just have to reach out to the agents and find out when you can go, or how does it
This is how you'll do it is with aligned showings.
okay.
Yeah. So then uh like let's say that we wanted to go see it on Saturday. Well,
You put their name.
yeah. And then you're gonna add all of them and it will give you like where you're going. And you can say like, okay, let's actually start at like 1 o'clock at this one. Then let's go. Oh, but it can't be scheduled at that time. Someone else has seen it. So for you, they're gonna go later.
There's openings for it.
So maybe we do this one.
Create route.
And then yeah, so then when you click create route, it's gonna go request that from everyone. And then you can do fastest route and you just schedule which one you want to go first and
Hey,
create the
Cameron.
route. Yeah, Jerry.
Sorry, my screen was fidgeting. Can you go back to how you did the route? Sorry.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah. So
Record this.
okay. Yeah, and I think Ritz is recording this too.
Oh, okay.
So I just select the ones that we want to see, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna click on this view reports. We're gonna go down to aligned showings route.
Oh, okay.
And then it will just say, okay, here's the listings that will be included. If for whatever reason they're not set up on aligned showings, it will tell you, and you'll have to reach out to the agent to talk to them. And then you just click create the route and it will just pull it up.
Okay.
And then you just
Cool.
put like, okay, when are we gonna start? Like, we're gonna go at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And
Okay.
this one,
Perfect.
you'll have to adjust the schedule for that one. So maybe like, oh, well, maybe let's just go at 4. And something's going on there. I don't know. It won't let us see it tomorrow. So then maybe we're like, okay, well, we can't see that one. And you can always look into what,
If it's the one they really like.
yeah, yeah, let's go see it. Yeah, and then put in whatever you want to call it, and then go next, and then you're adjusting. And so it's like, okay, this one, it's unavailable. They're probably doing an open house or something because it's a huge chunk. So maybe we're like, okay, let's end with that.
And it shows you the travel time too.
Yep. And so then when you do it,
Together, do you drive separate?
no, I drive separate.
Are you allowed to drive together?
Yes, you can.
Your friends?
Yeah.
Friends?
Yeah, I have done that with like
Yeah.
actually the last buyer I closed, it was my next door neighbors, their brother, and they were buying it with them. And so we like left together because it's like, okay, well, I don't want to drive separate when we're literally like you're my next door neighbors.
I would think if you're friends,
Yeah.
because you can talk what you
Yeah.
liked about it and they can ask questions. And
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah. And it's always good to let them have like a little bit of space to talk
oh, so
about
that's
it too.
why it's good.
Yeah,
Separate.
yeah, yeah. I like
Okay.
that. But if you're like good enough friends that you're like, hey, like you can just be honest and tell me you hate things, and like really good friends, usually not a problem. Like semi okay friends, it's good to give them their space because then they'll talk about it and then they'll get to the next house and they'll be like, we talked about it and we don't like that house, even though they just told you they loved it.
Cool.
So things like that, all that happen.
That's good strategy.
And so then, yeah, then it will tell you, okay, you're going to start at 5:02 and at 7:10. So we were 2 hours, and that's how it is.
You say create route.
And then create, and then
Create route.
when I click create route, it will actually request this of the agents. So it's either going to send a text to the agent or to the sellers themselves if the agent set that up. And then whenever it's approved, you get a little alert that looks like showing requests requested approved. So it looks something like this. I don't want to give you feedback. So I requested to see it and then it was approved.
Where do you see it where can you find that schedule?
It will email you and then it will also be all here in aligned showings. Yeah. And so if you've never logged into aligned showings, you should probably do that.
Line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it'll also text you if you put your phone number in. It'll shoot you a text. That way you get the alert right away.
here on the home screen.
Line. So you have to create an account.
It's already created, so you're just going to log in with your MLS account. But then you can change all your settings. So it will add it to your calendar too. And then you can invite them to a calendar invite or whatever you want to do. And however you want to remember it. The other thing that I always do is so as we're looking at properties, and let's say we had like these 3, I like to add this to a property list. And you'll see I have one that's called current showings.
You make 2 different things.
So yeah, because then if you do like current showings, it goes to this property lists here. And so it's like these were the 4 houses I just showed this last time. And so then I can select them all. So sometimes I'll just add them to a current showing list. And then I can send the listings. I can click down to do the aligned showing route, or I can do an agent full report and print this out. And so just kind of nice, like I'm going to show these. And so you'll notice that I have like my current showings. This is my client Joe. He ended up buying a house. So I could delete him off. That's the house he bought. Um, fake. And then like the Nelsons, I've showed them a bunch of houses. So these were the current showings that we just went to. So in theory, I could go select all of these if I wanted to remember like what houses we saw. Um, can I add this to another report? Probably. Oh, add to another list. So boom. So I added there. Delete selected. So now I have nothing in my current showings, but I can go back and see all of the houses that I've shown these people. Like, man, I've gone to too many houses. They should have bought this one. And they would have made an offer on this one. So kind of organizing yourself. But it's all about asking a ton of questions, getting to know what they want, and then helping them. And then at the very end of the appointment, so after we like find all the houses that we're going to go see, I'll say, "Oh, we didn't talk about one thing. Do you even know how I get paid?" And whatever they answer, if they're like, "Oh yeah, totally," then it's like, "Great, let's talk about the buyer broker." If they're like, "No," I'm like, "Okay, great, let's talk about the buyer broker agreement." And then so I say, how it works is most often the sellers are going to pay me. Okay. Yeah. How it works is most often I'm able to negotiate that the sellers pay me for my services. So what this document says, it's the buyer broker agreement, meaning that I am going to be your agent and I'm going to help you accomplish all your goals. We're going to find you the house we want, everything like this. And then it's going to outline a couple of things like how I help you, that I'm your fiduciary, meaning that I'm going to do the best for you and not just for me. Um, and in here it says how I'm going to get paid. So I'm going to put 3% here, meaning this is the most amount of money I can be paid. It is going to look like it's coming from you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the sellers for it to pay that commission uh, for you, basically. And if they're not okay with that, we have a couple of different options. We can ask the listing agent to help out. We can ask the lender to help out. The worst case scenario, we would get to the point where in negotiations, they would say, we're not covering any commissions. And that's where I would say, hey, Mandy, I need to be paid somehow. And so we would work it out. Good news is we would know that up front before we're even under contract. So there's not like surprises. I'm not like, hey, congratulations, closing day. Here's my bill, like a lawyer or something would do to you. And then the rest of the agreement's all kind of boilerplate stuff, just telling how I'm going to protect you and stuff. Do you have any questions or are you ready to hire me as your agent? And then they say, nope, I'm ready. So sign here.
Cameron, how often do you really come across sellers not wanting to pay commission for buyers?
Not often. The ones that do, seem to be like the crazier of the sellers. Uh, and the longer they're on the market, the more they're like, fine, we'll pay a buyer's agent, kind of an idea. But typically you can get them to pay something. So most people will be okay with it.
Okay.
They kind of expect it.
Yeah.
Well, even in the listing agreement, we talk about that.
Yeah, and that's why. It's like you're
Yeah.
probably gonna
Yeah.
pay a buyer's agent. And so if they say no, then you can say, well, if you're good with everything else, we can just raise the price a little bit because the cost of like raising the price of a loan, like even $20,000, like the cost to the buyers is so low. It's like, I don't know, $5, $10 a
So the
month.
buyer can offer more to cover the
Yep.
closing costs.
Yep. And so as long as it appraises, then it'd be fine. So that's always an option. They could always, and then the listing agent is getting paid something. And so you can say like listing agent, like I'm not being paid. My buyers don't have money to pay me. So this is not going to work. So if you want this deal to work, like either you got to get your sellers to pay for some of this or you have to pay me. And then the very worst case scenario, if the seller's like, there's no money, those listing agents like, I'm not making any money, you can call the lender and say, hey, what can we do here? Is there some way that we can wrap it in the loan? Can we do some closing costs? Can we do like what can you do? And then the very last scenario is buyers, no one's willing to pay this, we can't. So you would have to figure out how to pay me to get this done. And in 13 years, I have never had to do that. So I don't think that that's very common.
Is it pretty normal to negotiate as the buyer's agent? You're not usually going to get 3%.
No, I get 3% on most of my buyers. Yeah. Yeah.
Was it less work to work with buyers than sellers, or is it about sixes?
It's different. So with buyers, you have to go see every single house.
Yeah, which is fun.
Which is, yeah,
I think
it's more fun. With the listings, all of the showings are coming to you and you're not doing anything with those. So it's like more prep up front and then you're like follow up and everything. Then once it goes under contract, buyers do almost all of the work. They have to do an inspection, they have to do an appraisal, they have to do their loan. And the sellers are just kind of like sitting back.
It's really
Yeah. Yeah. Listings are more leverageable because you don't have to be physically there. You don't have to do all
you
of
can
this
set up
stuff.
home and
Yep.
but like when you're
So
working,
if you had 10 listings at a time, like you would feel super busy, but you could do it. If you had 10 buyers at a time, you would struggle because every buyer's like, hey, let's go out see homes this weekend. And you'd be like, I cannot physically see that many homes. So if you want to ramp really big up, you have to do tons of listings or hire showing assistants.
or just work like 80 hours a week.
Yeah, or go crazy.
Okay. So also with that, making on the showing the route.
Mhm.
So technically it will give you the information to the other agent and say, hey, this person wants to see it. So you don't ever have to actually call the other agent, the listing agent.
Yeah.
Unless,
But isn't
unless
it good? But don't you just call the listing agent anyway sometimes just to, I don't know, say, hey, this
Yeah,
is
if they're like, this is our favorite house, and like as long as the pictures look the same as it does in real life, we're gonna make an offer. I would call that listing agent and be like, hey, I just want to like I'm showing your house, your listing later, and I just wanted to get the story before we go there. And you can ask.
okay.
If they're like, oh, hey, yeah, these are just three that we really like, then I typically don't do that until they're like, we
Until
kind of
they're
like.
serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would call and say, hey, my buyers are interested, but we have some questions.
Okay.
And I never want to like give away my hand, meaning like I
Right.
don't want to be like, this is the best property on the market and
Right.
everything like that. I'm working
Right.
this setup.
did you ask?
Usually I say, do you have any other offers? Because that will change how we write an offer. Yep. And then the other question that I always ask is, besides money, what are your sellers looking for in an offer? Because some might say like, oh, we need to just move as fast as humanly possible. And then others might be like, ooh, we really want to live here for 2 weeks after it closes. And so if you figure out those things, sometimes you can win with less money, even in a multiple offer situation, because you're willing to do whatever the sellers want. So it's like, oh yeah, you can live here free for 2 weeks, but I'm gonna give you $5,000 less. And they might be like, oh my goodness, that's so nice. That's like a stress reliever. And it's like two, yeah, 2 weeks for $5,000 is the best deal ever. So like you might get crazy sellers that do things like that. Or
Question, when
Yeah.
you're doing the buyer consult though, if they're like, we're in a lease for 6 months, we don't even want to look for 6 months, then you would adapt the conversation to say, because my strategy is I want to get in conversations and be in their face, even
Yep.
if they're not ready,
Yep.
that they think of me as their agent.
Yeah.
I'm okay if it's in 6 months.
Well, and so the question I ask to that is like, okay, if we found like the perfect house
Would you be
today,
willing to like
like
figure out?
could you get out of your lease? Could you sublease it? Is there something that we could do?
Okay.
Because I don't want to miss out on the perfect home.
Yeah.
Like we can plan that we're going to be moving in 6 months, but I just want to make a game plan just in case.
Okay.
And then they're going to find a house before they move.
Mhm. Good.
because they'll be like, oh yeah, we can get out.
Like, obviously, the conversation will shift and you won't pull up the
Yeah.
MLS. You still might to get their idea of what they
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I like it because it kind of like shows what's out there. If
Mhm.
they're like, oh yeah, we can spend 650 and we need like a quarter to half acre and it needs to be at least 4,000 square feet and fully finished and we ideally new construction. It's like, well, that doesn't exist. Like we can see there's zero on the market. So something of that needs to change. Do you have more money? Do you need a smaller house? Do you need less lot? Like or can you move further away? Like maybe that exists in Mona, but not in Orem or Vineyard. And so then you can
Okay.
start to
I
bring this to reality.
I know we went over this, but like, cause I might have them sign it tomorrow. I don't even know what to put on this first page. Would it help
Oh, yeah.
everyone
You
to,
guys want to see a buyer broker?
and then like, what do we write? Cause I want to handwrite it so I can copy it on all the ones I do. Cause I'm not gonna
I'm gonna
remember.
start sharing. Yeah. Okay, well we're at 9:30, so if you guys need to jump off, don't feel bad. Otherwise I'm gonna pull up a buyer broker. Uh, so so it's the exclusive buyer broker agency agreement. So then you is your brokerage, your name, and then the buyer's name. If it's a husband and wife, I always put both of them on it, even if only one's going to be on the loan, because you never know what's going to happen. I tell them that I'm just going to put it at the end of the year, and we can cancel this at any time, but then we don't have to worry about it unless we go into the next year. Then ideally we're looking at properties only located within any county. Is my very favorite way to put that.
We're open.
We're open, like if they're like, yeah, we want to be in Lehigh really bad, and you're like, cool, and you put Utah County, and then they're like, oh, there's this Bluffdale house, and it's like that's just right there, and we would have to do a new buyer broker or an addendum for that.
Okay.
If someone that you don't know wants to only see one house or they're uncomfortable with this, sometimes we might do this for a very short period of time. If they're like, whoa, I don't even know if I like you. It's like, okay, well, let's do this buyer broker agreement for 1 week. If you don't like me, this is canceled after 1 week.
Just make it.
Or you can do it, yeah, only located at, and you could do the exact property address.
Okay, that makes sense.
If they have done that with other agents, like let's say I had one signed and I showed them a house and it was like only located at this address, and then they met you, Mandy, and they wanted to see houses, then you would put in this that the buyer does not have represented agreement and they'd enter in that address. This is not common.
Okay, so in my situation tomorrow,
You will probably not.
they said they didn't sign anything.
They didn't sign
I
anything.
recorded them saying that.
Yeah, so then you're gonna say, great, well, let's do that. If they had signed something, you would just have to exclude anything.
So let's say they do, you know what? I think we did sign this. Like husband says, yeah, I signed this.
Okay,
Then, and they looked at a few houses.
yep.
What happens if it,
So if that buyer broker agreement is the same any, then you
can't do it?
you can't do it. If they're like, no,
To that person.
yep, and cancel it, yeah.
Okay,
And then that's when the protection period, did we skip it? Yeah, goes in. So like if that other agent shows them a house and then they cancel and then they say, oh, actually, we want to buy that house. Well, then that's what the protection period.
What you put in the protection period?
I put 6 months,
6 months.
but other people do 3. I've never used it, so I don't think it's.
But you have to write something there.
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah. Then so the brokerage fee, this is the most amount of money that you can collect. So
3%.
So 3% is common. There are agents that put higher than this because randomly they could get more commission. And so like I usually put 3%. Yeah. Yeah. Actually what I do is I put 395 and 3%.
What's 395?
Because that's how much Brittany costs. So I make my buyers pay that. Yeah. And if they're like, why 395? I'm like, oh, this is an actual person. Like we have a transaction fee at our brokerage, but it hires an actual person. I put 6 months here. I like shall for
What is
uh the dispute
7? Shall.
resolution. I like shall, but may is just fine. I do not do attachments usually.
What does
Um,
that mean?
just other, like you don't have any other agreements. Like there's not an addendum or anything. You'll notice if you read this that you should also send them the buyer due diligence checklist and the wire fraud alert disclosure. I don't do that. I make Brittany do that.
Okay.
So, um,
Okay.
and then you sign it as the agent and they sign it as the buyer, and you can show them any houses located within whatever you agreed.
Okay.
So easy peasy. Okay, go crush today. Go make some phone calls. Don't let me catch you, Jerry. I'm 36.
I know.
Yay.
I got a question for you. So we
Okay.
ran into a hiccup with my buyers, which I think I kind of talked to you about that. Like I had no idea they'd be approved, and then out of nowhere they're like, "Yeah, we're approved." Well, now they're not approved because the
Oh,
job is two totally different careers. Is there a
oh,
way to search seller finance on the MLS?
yep,
Because I was
yep,
trying to look at it and I was like I couldn't find it. So,
yeah. So it's under, if you go in the full search, um, and it's under terms, which I think is at the very bottom. Uh,
oh,
terms,
bottom.
yep. So in the
Okay, let me
listing,
pull mine up real quick. Let me see. So I already have everything. Okay, perfect.
yeah.
Um, okay. Well,
Yeah, and so then
that
there's also
actually.
lease options. Those are not as good. The difference is like a lease option is you say, we will buy your house for this amount of money on this date, but until then, we're going to rent it.
Okay.
And so you as the agent get paid when when it actually closes. So if they're like, yeah, we need 2 more years, then it's like, hey, we'll rent your house for 2 years and then we'll buy it at this amount. Then you'd set them up, they'd start renting, and then 2 years from now, they get to decide if they want to do it. Usually there's some sort of a down payment that they do that kind of locks them in a little bit more. If the market's going up, it's great for your buyers. If the market's going down, the buyers don't end up buying it. So it's always kind of difficult.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I have a call scheduled with them at 10. Um, and I just want to talk to them because they do have a good amount of cash.
Yeah.
And so I know last year we kind of talked about maybe them buying a smaller, townhome or condo just so they're not wasting money in rent. Um, and then they could either turn that into a rental or turn around and sell it and then use that money as a down payment, like once they're actually approved.
Yeah.
Um, so it's either they pay cash for something smaller right now and they do kind of settle,
Hmm.
or we try to do a seller finance, which we've actually on a couple of properties we did look at. I was calling the agents, talking to them. I was going to bring it up when Mandy. Um, I always call the agent and talk to them, like with them in particular,
Yeah.
if they're willing to do seller finance. If they got a good amount down, or the other thing with the aligned showings is, people always ask for feedback. I always do them just because I
Yeah.
appreciated when people did them on my listing.
I
And
agree.
then you kind of get that relationship with the other agents of, oh my gosh, thank you for filling it out. A lot of like the showings that I did a couple of weeks ago, I had like 4 different agents reach out. Thank you for doing the feedback. You don't know how many people do not do this. I appreciate it. So make me an offer. And there
Yeah.
was one of the houses I was like, yeah, they absolutely loved it. We just got some stuff going on. And they're like, just make us an offer. They need to get out of there, make us an offer. And I'm like, well, so,
You
but
never
yeah,
know.
I just wanted to see, um,
Yeah,
like I
and you
said,
can like you said, you can always call agents, be like, hey, would they be open to seller financing? This is our
yeah,
situation, why we can't do it. And so, great borrowers, great buyers, this could work out if you're open to seller financing. And
yeah,
then I have some like a spreadsheet calculator type thing that you could you could even do because it shows like the sellers how they potentially will net more money by doing it that way. So super helpful if you needed to use that to send to a listing,
Oh,
just, and I'll send
yeah.
it to you.
If you don't mind, if let me talk to them about it first and kind of see what happens. The other question is on a seller finance, how do we get paid?
So it all comes out of the down payment. So that down
Okay.
payment that they're putting on, that pays the listing agent, the buyer's agent, and then any other fees. Good news is it's more similar to cash because you don't have like all the lenders involved and everything like that. So it's usually like pretty minimal closing costs for everyone.
Okay.
And
So
then
like if let's say, they do a seller finance, they give them 100,000. Does the
mhm,
seller pay out of the down payment?
yep.
Okay.
Yep. So
Okay.
that
I just want
hundred
to make sure.
thousand goes, and then let's say they buy a $500,000 house. So you're 15 grand, the listing agent's 15 grand. So then the seller pays both of you, and they're left with $70,000.
Okay. I just want to make
And
sure it's not like,
yeah,
yeah, put the down payment, but hey, part of your down payment is actually coming to me.
yeah, yeah. No, it's a complete down payment. That's how it looks like to the buyers, and then to the sellers, they have to pay you, and so that's the money that they'll use.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for showing me that.
Sweet.
Hope you have a good weekend. Sorry I've been
Yeah.
kind of MIA this week.
I have two. I had a dentist appointment. No, let's see. Wednesday was bold. Thursday, we didn't have it for a red day. So you're here,
Yeah.
you're back. Let's go crush it.
All right,
Have a
man. You
great
guys
one,
have a
Jerry.
good
We'll
one.
see you.
Bye.